So we left off discussing about namespaces. We actually started discussing what namespaces are. Now the primary reason we use namespaces are to eradicate long class names. Long class names, you might see there are some frameworks that use very long class names that might actually consist of maybe more than 47, maybe 57, maybe even over 60 characters. So such long descriptive class names are not needed. Your class names must be descriptive, but it does not necessarily mean that it will need to be very long. The primary reason for that is um, whenever you work in a team, or whenever your code needs to be read by someone else, or whenever your code needs to be inherited. In such cases, very long class names can actually hinder the process of development. It will take a very long time to just simply type in your class name. So namespace comes to the rescue, and it saves us from typing in very long class names. And the second thing is that it's a sort of package. It's a sort of encapsulation process. A package, you might even think of a real package inside a program, inside a programming context. In a real package, you might think of it as if it's a box. In a box, we might have books, we might put in books, we might put in pens, stationaries, we might even put in our clothings, our gadgets. So in a box, in a package, you might actually get a lot of stuff. And if we try to use if you try to pick up one object from that specific package or that specific box, then we need to open the box up and pick up the object that we want and maybe place it in another package or in another box. So the namespace is a sort of a package that actually both helps us in encapsulating our code, and it also helps us to shorten our class names. Now, if you have, as we have discussed, if you need to use a function that has similar names in two scripts, or in maybe two packages, or in two modules, or in two separate places, but if when you try to use both of those functions, your compiler will get confused, obviously. So to solve that problem, we need to use namespace. So these are the two reasons. The first reason is to eradicate the need to type in long class names, and the second reason is to actually to create. So it helps us to create similar type, similar named, identically named function inside our codes or inside our scripts. So the first step in creating a namespace is very simple. The first thing you need to do is just to provide the keyword of namespace, in which we tell the compiler that we are going to declare a namespace, and then you declare the name of that namespace, or you assign the name of that namespace, and it is followed by the semicolon that tells that we have now defined a namespace, and that's it. That's obviously the simplest stuff to do inside our object-oriented approach. Now let's save this part. We are going to focus on we're going to create another script right now. So the script, in that script, we will try to use contents from this package or contents from this namespace. So how do we do that? The first thing that we need to do is to obviously create another PHP script. So simply, if you are using this NetBeans on MacBook like me, then simply click on this add new file and click on a PHP class. We are not going to use a PHP empty file because it only gives us opening and closing PHP tags and nothing else. We'll be looking at interfaces very shortly. So right now we need a class. So let's click next, and let's name this class as maybe let's name this as category. So this class stored inside this category.php will be stored inside our things folder. So let's finish this off, and now we get an empty class declaration with all this, comments. We don't need those comments right now. We can provide them later on. But remember to place comments as much as possible. Don't use comments. Don't use too much of your comments, but try to optimize your usage, because comments can help you later on when you are coming back to the same old script, or when someone else is trying to read your script. So comments will usually help them, but just for the demonstration purpose I'm not going to use them. So in here what we need to do is, because we intend to use the namespace from the objects from this namespace, we need to call in the use keyword followed by the namespace of posts, and there we go. So actually what you can do is that you can even shorten the name with by using the as keyword that will assign p to it. We just don't need to use that right now. Now I'll be showing that usage after I have explained all this code. What we have done in here is that we just told the compiler that in the previous script that exists in the same relative directory, or in the same relative path, we have created a namespace, a package called posts, and that post package contains this blueprint of a post output class. It contains a class that we named as post output with several functions and a property. Now what we want in here is that we want to use that class from the posts namespace inside our category class, or inside our category script. So we tell the compiler that use the contents inside the namespace that we named as posts. So you can actually literally read this in human terms, not exactly in programming terms, but you can refer to it as use the contents from the namespace posts, or use the contents from the namespace posts namespace, or the post package, if it's easier for you to understand with the word package. So we have told the compiler that we intend to use the namespace. Now let us actually use the content, or the class that exists inside this post namespace.